Hello, everybody, and welcome to the COVID Monologues Collection 1. Thank you for joining us again. I know we had some issues with streaming this performance live for you. Hopefully we'll have those issues sorted out for collections 2 and 3. We have some new ideas on ways to get those to you. So stay tuned, follow the page on Facebook to stay up to date with all of those updates, and we will try and get them out to you as soon as possible. We put a call out for monologues to writers across the world. We had about 60 submissions in total, and we whittled that down to 25 for performance for you guys at home. We cast those that the writers didn't want to perform themselves, either because they couldn't because of the demographic, or they preferred to have somebody else read their monologue for them. And so I'm very excited to get started and introduce to you our first monologue of the night by Mikyla Jane Durkan, and this is Milk Life.
So, I rang the landline. You know those 6 pints of milk? Milk, he says. Yeah, do they fit in the fridge door? Because I worked out if I bought a 6-pinter and 2 4-pinters instead of 3 4-pinters, because of the limit on the milk, then that'd be more milk. But those 6-pinters are huge. Milk, he said, sounding even more puzzled. I'm starting to get agitated. I haven't got much time before I have to press amend. But I'm trying not to be an angry person. Yes, the 6 pinters of milk. Do they fit in the fridge door? He stutters. Oh, I'm not sure. His voice sounds a little different. He sounds almost afraid. I look at the number on the phone. Hello? Oh, the last digit's different. Sorry, wrong number. And I hang up. The man on the phone sounded old. Maybe I was the only person that he would speak to today. I saw the dog looking at me, judging me. She knows at best I am the hunter-gatherer trying to get milk for the pack, or a self-obsessed, insular, selfish wretch wrapped up in my own. So I ring the number back. The man answers. He does sound old and nothing like my partner. Hello, I said. I'm sorry to bother you. I'm the woman that just rang earlier. Oh, yes. Right, he said. Look, I just wanted to apologise. I was a little rude and I explained what I'd done. He laughed. Oh, don't worry, it's fine. I thought you were my partner. Your voices are very similar. In truth, I haven't really listened to his voice. He said he thought I was his daughter. She does his shopping and he thought she was ringing to check how much milk he had. We started chatting. I asked him how he was. Was he keeping safe? Was he being looked after? Was he on his own? He was on his own. His wife had died. We chatted for about half an hour. I think I might be becoming a better person. Not as good as you, obviously.
Our next monologue is one that I'm going to read for you. This one is a piece by Elizabeth Speckman, and it's entitled Continued on page 12. There's something about a list of names that makes me uneasy. Together, so many names don't seem so real. Whether on a guest list or a seating chart or a wall or the front page of a newspaper that continues on page 12. Too many names together overwhelm me. I've never been a numbers person. I can't walk into a room and tell you how wide it is or how many feet are between me and the door, or how many bodies I see. Bodies. I am a body. You are a body. Your children, your mother, your cousin. It boils down to bodies. I'm reminded of that game we used to play in the car. Hold your breath whenever you pass a cemetery. Bad luck if you don't. So when you see one coming, take a deep breath and hold. Hold. How long would we be holding our breaths if we held a breath for every last life extinguished by this virus? How long would we be silent together, holding on, holding steady, waiting for the end? Our next monologue talks about going through lockdown, isolated from sexual intimacy. It's a very funny piece entitled I'm Not a Nympho by Nieve Hearity.
I'm not an infomaniac. I mean, I'm not a nun either. You know, I've had experiences. I've had some great experiences. I've had some fabulous experiences. But just because I'm not out every night picking up random guys, it doesn't mean I don't like sex. I'm a little bit old-fashioned, and I think that intimacy between two people should be somewhat special. I just prefer it to be with someone I'm dating. I mean, I've got friends who are, well, insatiable. They can't go a week without, oh God, what did Amy say? Getting ploughed. Sounds vile, doesn't it? I'm just wired differently. I'm not the type of person who could do a one-night stand, you know? Which is why I thought that this whole lockdown would be easy. I mean, 2 weeks at home. I'm a homebody by nature, so that was a walk in a park, and then it went to a month, and you know, I was fine. I Skyped with friends, and I Zoomed with work, and completely and utterly rinsed my Amazon account. I mean, I think I've watched every season and incarnation of The Real Housewives twice. So it was a bit of a shock to realise that, well, to be frank, I am horny as hell. I mean, I have never been this aroused. I just want to get fucked, screwed, banged, rogered, yes, even ploughed. I am climbing the walls. I cannot cope. It started small, okay? Little things like, okay, so there's a guy at work and we've kind of been flirting, and it's nothing serious, it's way too soon for that, but just glances during meetings and secret smiles across the room, and stand a millimetre too close when we're talking, and I could smell his aftershave and it would stay in my head all day. And there is something so sexy about a guy's aftershave mixed with his natural scent. Where was I? Oh, the touches. The touches. When he would hand me a cup of tea or a file and our fingers would brush together, those touches. And I didn't realise how much I'd come to rely on those touches and glances until I started working from home. And yet we still see each other with Zoom and email, but you can't exactly gaze at your crush on a Zoom call. I mean, there's absolutely no way to be covert when you have 9 mini boxes of co-workers and your bosses staring at you. I didn't realise how much I wanted those touches, and I mean, I started, what is the word? Yearning for contact. I asked the postman if he could deliver my mail directly, just so I could, you know, gently graze my fingers against his. Well, the bugger stopped delivering, and he put my letters in a plastic bag and hung them on my gate. I mean, I just wanted physical contact, you know, and I just didn't realise how much I was used to it. Look, I don't go around like some sort of molester just caressing random people, okay? But I mean, having absolutely nothing has been hard. I thought I was just a bit touch-starved. That's the word, isn't it? Touch-starved. So I thought that was the worst of it, you know, and That was the toughest part about being in lockdown. And then I started craving more than touches. Hand holding, arm stroking, thigh grabbing, hands going places. I started having these really intense dreams, sexy dreams. I mean, some of them are just downright shameful. Blowing Carl from IT, a threesome with Tony Blair and my old English teacher, Mr. Bennett. But the others, God, the other dreams are just so... I mean, some days I'd wake up so turned on, I could barely walk. I've been fantasizing about the bin men. I have bought so many sex toys off Amazon. I am now only getting adverts for complete and utter filth. I mean, it's just pure porn. And I don't want porn, I just want sex. I just want regular, heart-pounding, leg-shaking, gasping, writhing, orgasmic sex with anyone. Within reason, of course. So, that's why I'm here on this hookup site. So, if you are interested in a 1 or 3 night stand and you have no STDs with proof and you don't have COVID, then message me here. I'm Lolita Bell, and yeah, maybe we can work something out. Okay. Bye. Wow. Okay. How do I upload this? What the fuck? No! It's an Instagram live. Fuck! No! Mom! No! Shut up!
Next up, we have a wonderful monologue for you, written and performed by Mooney, entitled Musings of a Septuagenarian.
A week into lockdown, a hysterectomy shrank my world to the size of an armchair. But after some weeks, I surfaced from the pain and grief. I hadn't expected to feel loss. I'd thought that was for young women. When I took my first walk in May through the village where I live, I found it devoid of people and cars. A ghost village. The stillness was unexpected, bewitching, slightly unnerving, like discovering the ruins of an abandoned temple deep in the jungle. I walked lightly, not wanting to disturb it. Unmown council verges had become meadows, rich in flora and pollinators. When I reached the woods and fields, I stopped. The sky was the colour of bluebells. The sun was a giant buttercup. It shone high above boundless fields of buttercups, each one a mirror to the sun. Every morning I walked my dog through the exuberant hedgerows. Honeysuckle and dog rose jostled for space. Celandine, corn cockle and cow parsley, abundant. Tiny fists of ferns, unfurling, brushed against my legs. In the farmer's field, blood-red poppies were birthing from oval furry pods. Birds sang hymns of praise, anthems to a new peace on earth. In the afternoons, I gardened. I donned my old straw hat and I gardened. I'm not a tidy gardener. I appreciate groundsel and dandelion as much as the lily and the rose. All have their place And the bees agree. My hands deep in the soil, I would chat to Mabel, my resident blackbird, and Tobias, a plump toad who's making himself at home in a shady corner. When you're old, you can do as you please. A relief to a lifelong eccentric. I prefer their company to that of my neighbours. They want to share ad nauseum the petty inconveniences that the lockdown is causing them. They recommend poisons to rid my plot of weeds and pests. They tell me the government is doing a good job. In the evenings, I am a PC warrior, sharing political posts, mourning those lost and those struggling under dire circumstances, signing petitions, ranting about injustices, and celebrating BLM initiatives. I marvel at the vids on YouTube from all around the world, animals taking to the streets, wildcats ambling along thoroughfares, a rhino strolling through town, and sheep, monkeys, goats, all reclaiming their territory. And wonder of wonders, drum roll, fanfare of trumpets, for the first time ever in 10 years, free at last from public scrutiny, 2 middle-aged pandas celebrating and consummating their love in a Hong Kong zoo. Margaya, Mabel, Tobias and I prefer life on lockdown. This old lady's wounds have healed, the scars covered by belly fat. But old Ma Nature's wounds run deeper, and I fear for her and for all humanity as the world goes back to business as usual.
Our next piece comes to you from an East Coast writer called Enid Bryce. This is her piece called The Rash.
Hello, Dr. Goldfarb. I guess I'm fine, but I'm sick and tired of trying to hide my feelings. I mean, come on. Who's ever really feeling fine these days? And if they say they are, I guarantee you they're lying. Last night I watched Dead to Me for 12 hours straight. It's about death, divorce, addiction, murder, infidelity. It's comforting, really. It's kind of like watching the news, especially since COVID. So yes, I guess I'm fine. Well, except for the rash. It started on my arms, but now it's spread. Do you think it means I'm not comfortable in my own skin? Nah, I'm sure it's just that I'm allergic to something. God, I look like shit. When am I going to have enough nerve to go back to my hair salon? I'm sick and fucking tired of looking my age. Are you eating a bagel? A bagel? At $250 this session, don't you think you could have waited a bit? And listen, no offense, but could you please sit farther back from the screen? Because, well, I don't want to say, but it's your nose hair. Oh, I'm sorry. That was so rude. Shut up! No, Not you, Dr. Goldfarb. It's my parrot, Sophie. Why can't I be more like her? She just goes with the flow. She doesn't give a damn about nose hair. My husband and I, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Well, except for small things. It's hardly worth mentioning. For example, we always seem to land in the exact same spot in the kitchen at the exact same time. So yes, you might say he's getting under my skin. I know what you're going to say. I know, Dr. Goldfarb. How does this make me feel? I told you, I'm breaking out into red oozing rashes. And I'm itching like crazy. That's how it makes me feel. Now, of course, I love my husband. like I love my Icelandic wool sweater. I'm glad I could make you smile, Dr. Goldfarb. Could you do me a favor? Could you please tell my husband that you think I'm still funny? Are you looking at your watch? Oh God, time's not up yet, is it? Oh God, now I'm itching all over. What is the meaning of this itching? Could you please just give me a hint? I guess I'm not really so fine. And maybe the rash isn't just an allergy. Oh, time's up? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Goldfarb. I feel better.
Our next heartfelt piece is performed and written by Bradley Middleton. Here's his COVID monologue.
It was the 13th of March, Friday the 13th. It was that strange week before lockdown when nobody seemed to have a clue what to do, including the government. I mean, as a country, we'd stopped tracking and tracing the virus about a week before. And it seemed to be part government policy just to let it run through the community. I mean, that's what Boris said. He sat there on the sofa on this morning and said we could take it on the chin. I mean, what sort of bluster is that? What sort of leadership is that? Take it on the chin. Pure post-Brexit rhetoric. I had two things to do that morning. One was to go shopping. But as I left the house, without gloves, without a mask, and I couldn't find hand sanitizer for love nor money, I remember thinking, this is a mistake. And as I opened doors, as I picked things up and put them down, as I went to pay and I was tapping my PIN number into the card machine, I remember thinking, how many unwashed, infected hands had been here first? And I thought, this is going to cost me. And I went to the cash point, the same thing, as I'm tapping my PIN number and I'm thinking to myself, this is a mistake. This is going to cost me big time. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I caught it that day. But no, I couldn't catch it. I couldn't catch it because I already had it. I wasn't catching the virus, I was spreading it. But I didn't know anything about it until later. I woke up and I was in agony, fever, burning up, freezing cold, and everything hurt. My chest, my lungs, my back. I couldn't get the air in. And I just lay there for days, necking paracetamol and trying to get fluids into me until I could recover. But like I said, I had two things to do that day. One was go shopping. The other was go and see my nan. She came down with it a few days later, and much worse than me. She had to go to hospital, and the doctors and the nurses, they did everything they could, but she's too old, too weak, and that's what it boils down to. Her life. She died alone. None of us could go and see her. And we're left with the feeling that it was our fault. I'm left with the feeling that it was my fault.
And finally, our last piece of the night, sadly, until next week when we'll be able to bring you more monologues, either in a pre-recorded uploaded format or possibly through a Zoom meeting. Those details will be announced soon, so stay tuned on our Facebook page. Don't forget to like it. Please do share the posts if you're enjoying these. Share them with friends that might also enjoy them. Last up, we have a piece by Alan Huckle called The Game, and this is performed by a performer who's local to the Coachella Valley, Alden West.
I've known you more years than I care to think about. But did you remember that I was 90 yesterday? No, you did not. And no, you didn't send me a card either. Typical man. But for the sake of the game, I forgive you. I'll put it down to old age, memory loss, and coronavirus. Oh. I'm sorry to hear about your health problems. Type 2 diabetes, eh? Oh, that only gives you what, 7 years? Huh. But for this, probably less at your age. Why the hell didn't you tell me before? And don't say you didn't want to worry me. We've known each other far, far too long. But yes, if your throat's bothering you, I'll continue playing via Zoom, and I'll do most of the talking, as long as it doesn't interfere with the game. Now that you've confessed, did I tell you that I have a heart complaint? Yes, women do have them. 2 operations, stent and all that. Life-threatening like yours. But who the hell cares? I should have died before now. But I haven't. I'm like you. Tough as old boots. I suppose you've had the letter from the government telling you not to go out. Yeah. Good job we have our distraction. Still, I do get a bit lonely sometimes. In fact, except for you and my doctor, the only person I've talked to since this started is the man who delivers from the supermarket. I don't consider the person who brings my prescription. No, she just puts it on the doorstep, nods at it, and gets back in her van. I've no one else, you know, not since Teddy died. We never had children. I've always regretted that. Oh, but you know all this, and I don't want to get in the habit of repeating myself. But like you, I've no relatives to speak of. The people I do know are either computer illiterate, senile, or dead, except you. God knows how long you'll last. But still, your brain is as agile as ever, my old friend. But not as agile enough to beat mine. So, shall we keep going while there's still life left in us? I've moved my queen to K5, taken your bishop, and now I'm threatening your king. You've got 24 hours. Your move.
Thank you all so much for watching. Below this video, you can find biographies for each of our authors that we've celebrated here tonight. And if you want to share this with friends, please do share the video, like the page, and we will be back with more information about next week's collection 2 of the Covert monologues. Thanks for watching and stay safe.